Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another Kaiju number 8 chapter review. Today we're looking at chapter 48. Now, there's really no news this week. I didn't find any, so we're just going to skip that section. Let's get right into the recap here. So, last week, basically, we get to see kind of Kafka fighting number 9, and we get to see that number 9 is kind of learning from the JDF and kind of developing his new strategies. And then the really kind of interesting moment was when Narumi showed us that his eyes are actually that way for a reason. And it's because he has the first numbers weapon inserted into his eyeball, which is the kind of retina of a kaiju that has been grafted onto him that allows him to see kind of like X-ray vision of kaiju, which I thought was pretty interesting. It was really cool. It kind of made sense, and it kind of supports, but not really supports, my theory that, you know, the younger JDF members are going to be changed into these like semi-kaiju people by the fact that they have so much kaiju energy rushing through their body all the time because of their suits, right? So I'm interested to see how that kind of plays out. But that's it for that. If you want to watch the full review, do check it out on the channel or look up at the card and click on it if you want. So yeah, let's get into the chapter review today. The chapter has 25 pages, a little bit longer than last time, a little bit shorter than the longest one we've had in a while. So yeah, let's get into it. It's right at the end of last week's chapter. Kind of re-establishes that Narumi has the number 1 weapon stashed into his eyeball. And Kaiju number 9 is really surprised. He is kind of upset that he can't dodge the attacks that he said he thought he had learned to dodge, and it's kind of showing that he's actually quite weak compared to Narumi when Narumi is going all out. So that's pretty interesting. He's asking number 9, Beta, because this is the kind of secondary character, is asking if he got faster, and then he realizes that no, that it's even that he was being attacked before he was even moving. So this is like a very OP kind of precognition kind of power. It kind of reminds me of the Sharingan, which is kind of funny because Hoshina and some other characters have these like Renegon eyes. And yeah, apparently this weapon is the future sight that Kaiju number 1 had. So it visualizes the signals emitted from the life form's brain in order to initiate activity. At least that's what it literally says on the chapter. And so this allows the user to kind of predict movement in a way that is kind of precognition. Basically, he gained clairvoyance in some way. And apparently this kaiju was really powerful and was able to unleash these attacks that were not kind of dodgeable, right? And obviously Narumi is more or less doing the same thing. And Narumi apparently, with this kind of slight scene shift, we get to see his thought process here. And apparently Narumi is seeing that all of the signals of the kaiju are going through this single point, which is probably his core, right? And number 9 has trouble studying Narumi because he's moving so fast, so quickly. And Narumi manages to kill him with his bayonet technique number 2, which is called /salvo. Which is pretty cool. The image looks really cool, really badass. I really like that a lot. And yeah, Narumi destroys this kaiju with no problem. And then we get to see this kind of scene shift again, where it's like the analyst people are talking about how Captain Narumi and Kaiju number 8 have destroyed the Hanjus, the large kaiju. And now they're reading that all of the regenerated Joju, the small kaiju, are starting to fade one by one. So that's pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. I really enjoy this kind of aspect of showing a lot of the secondary military characters, even if they don't have names. It's just interesting to see, you know, that this is a real organization, not just like some small time kind of situation, right? And then Mr. Shinomiya is like, no, not yet. It hasn't ended. He's trying to say no, not yet, but then Kikoru comes online and she says the same thing. Apparently there's some Joju left, and now they're kind of switching over to extermination duties. And so the other top brass guy that's friends with Mr. Shinomiya is kind of laughing and saying to Mr. Shinomiya like that his daughter has grown, right? The Kikoru seems to be shaping up to be quite a character, right? And yeah, so Mr. Shinomiya talks about how it happened with Narumi again, and what he's trying to say is that the young generation surprises him. Now, this is kind of interesting because he refers to Kaiju number 8 as the young generation, and yes, technically he is part of the newest generation of Kaiju hunters, but he's significantly older than everyone else in his generation, so I don't know if this is like really applicable to Kafka, but it definitely applies to Narumi and Kikoru, right? So yeah, and Mr. Shinomiya says that, you know, these characters have easily exceeded his expectations, and we get to see some cool shots of Kikoru taking them some kaiju. And yeah, this other top brass guy, I think he's the guy that works with Narumi, is shocked that they managed to kill these kaiju so quickly and so effectively, right? And apparently only 2 sections of the JDF line was breached, and the damage was super minimal and super kind of containable. So yeah, all the Joju are neutralized, and the Shinagawa neutralization operation has ended because what Mr. Shinomiya envisioned came to be, right? We get to see these really wonderful, powerful characters being really kind of what's it called? Effective, right? Then we get to see this really nice moment between Kafka and Kikoru where they kind of bump fists, which I thought was really cute, really nice, kind of plays up that kind of brotherly relationship that they have, right? And Narumi and Kikoru and Kafka are all kind of given these nice congratulations by Mr. Shinomiya. He says, well done. And we get to see Kikoru have this really like very cute reaction to being kind of given some praise, and Kafka like gives her a thumbs up, and he's like, yeah man, you earned it. And Kikoru gets a little teary-eyed, so I thought it was really cute. Kind of really develops the character of Kikoru without her having her say anything, so I like that a lot. Then let's see what happens. So they kind of talk about preparing the site for evacuation and kind of cleaning up and everything like that. So yeah, everyone says Roger and they move on. And Narumi kind of seems to think that there's something not right. And we get a flashback to hearing number 9 talking about how he wants to take that great kaiju power, right? And so he's kind of thinking about it. And he's kind of realizing that maybe, you know, something's wrong. And he realizes that Kaiju number 9 had something else in mind, right? And we get to see this kind of like emergency signal, beep, beep, beep. And what happens is that there's a Kaiju reading that is somewhere else, somewhere where they weren't prepared, right? And we get to see number 9's kind of like sinister speech bubble again. And it's like, you know, he wasn't able to kill Kaiju number 8, but he'll manage to do something else, right? And he's going to take that great Kaiju power for himself. And what ends up happening is that he's kind of standing behind Mr. Shinomiya, and he's going to take the power of Kaiju number 2, which I think actually means he's going to overtake Mr. Shinomiya's body with his suit. So that's pretty interesting because he doesn't mention that, you know, he found a compatible user and the Kaiju number 2 power. So and he's like having this really evil like stance right behind Mr. Shinomiya. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was a really great chapter, and as always, it ends like at a higher point than where it began, and that's kind of super insanely exciting. And I really liked the chapter, but I don't know. I feel like this arc is dragging a bit too long, and we're not getting really enough world building to kind of fit the amount of action. And so I'm kind of starting to feel that it's time to, you know, kind of move it on, right? So I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens next. This probably is near the end of the arc, so we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty excited. I don't really have any theories either, so I think this is going to be it for now. This video is going to be kind of short. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.